Starting off this countdown, we have the Demon Girl. I seriously wish I could just erase all of these TikToks from my memory, but I can't, so you better give this video a thumbs up because I'm putting my life on the line looking at all these cursed TikToks. So this video was posted by Carson Shelton. You already know it's going to be a creepy video because it's in black and white and the music in the background alone is enough to give you a heart attack. So in the video, all you see is something begin to emerge from the crack of the door. I honestly thought it was a giant spider at first, but no. Later you see that it's hair slithering out from the door crack and then it wraps itself around the doorknob. The hair then twists the knob and the door opens to reveal a creepy looking lady staring right into your soul. Pretty damn creepy if you ask me.
In our number 9 spot today we have Sam's story. A TikToker who goes by the name of Sam Doll posted their parallel universe story on TikTok. She starts off by setting the scene, which was at her then boyfriend's house for the first time. Basically, she wakes up in the middle of the night to go to the washroom, and this is when she sees a guy standing in her partner's room. She didn't panic and just assumed that it may be his brother who she hadn't met yet, and she assumed that he was just sleepwalking. As she looked closer, she realized that this man was actually smoking a cigarette and appeared to be in his 40s. This is when she sits up and says, "Hey." And just like that, the man disappears. In the end, she didn't end up waking up her boyfriend and instead told him about it the next day. To her surprise, he said that she needed to tell his mom because apparently his mom had previously reported a similar sighting. In the end, because of the fact that the two of them shared the same experience, she believes that it is possible that this man is living in that house, but in a different universe, and that perhaps there's some sort of a leak in between the two timelines, making these strange occurrences a reality. In our number 8 spot today, we have The Trip. A TikToker and Nashville model named Katie Rocks took to TikTok to share a really bizarre experience she had that relates back to a 2017 school trip to France. This sounds like a dream, but when it came time to leave, things went a little awry. Basically, Katie remembers distinctly flying back home from France with all of her classmates and friends, but they all claimed that they missed the flight. She claims that she remembers sitting 3 rows behind some of her friends and that they all took a taxi back from the airport to the apartments they stayed in during their time in school, but none of her friends remember this at all. In our number 7 spot today, we have The Night at the Apartment. This story comes from the TikToker thegem_m, and it has to do with the time they think that they and a friend might have accidentally shifted into some sort of parallel universe. Basically, they start off by explaining that they and their roommate like to kind of run around their apartment complex in the middle of the night just for fun. So one night they're doing this, and they went to duet a really funny TikTok in the middle of these escapades. After filming the TikTok, they go to watch it back, and this is when they both stand up and look at each other super confused. Basically, they both thought that they were in a completely different location than when they stopped to watch the video. Like, we're talking about a difference of like 100 to 200 feet in a completely different part of their apartment, and they both had the same feeling. They were both super confused and thought that they were in the same location that it turned out they weren't actually in. In our number 6 spot today, we have the Master Manifester. Okay, so parallel universe TikTok is alive and well and thriving, so much so that people are now even giving tips on how to essentially time travel or jump into the reality you want to be in. A TikToker named Marianne Valenza, who calls herself a Master Manifester, can be seen on the app giving people tutorials on how to jump into your most desired timeline, and she says that in the shower is the best place to do it. She explains that the location is important because water is such a powerful conduit to the entire process. She explains that the first step is giving yourself time because it's not a process that can be rushed, which, I mean, given what we were talking about, that makes a ton of sense. She goes on to say that you need to soak yourself completely in hot water while you visualize, quote, the water cleansing you so that it removes all of your limiting beliefs, the negative thoughts that you have. And if you can, quote, shampoo and lather with a strong smelling scent such as orange or cinnamon. Honestly, who knew that shifting timelines could be so easy, clean, and relaxing? In our number 5 spot today, we have The Shifter. Ashley Vask is a young woman from New Jersey who took to TikTok to explain that she has been shifting for a few years. She explains that her first encounter shifting into a different reality occurred by accident when she was listening to music. Basically, she shifts herself into a sort of Harry Potter world. She said, quote, "I was obsessed with Harry Potter at that point. All of a sudden, I felt extremely weird. I woke up and I swear on my life that I felt like I was at Hogwarts. It was the craziest feeling." She did her research after this and found out about the phenomenon of reality shifting, and since then has begun practicing more and more, and now takes to TikTok to share her tips and tricks with others. She explains that her favorite method of getting into this world is what she calls the tunnel method. This sees her lying down, closing her eyes, and visualizing a tunnel in which she can see the Slytherin common room at the end of. In our number 4 spot today, we have the dream life. Mavi Juka is another Harry Potter world shifter whose TikTok account had about 200,000 followers. She used TikTok to explain how she used similar techniques as Ashley from before in order to achieve the appearance she wanted, and also the family relationships she aspired to have. She also uses the shifting in order to head off to life at Hogwarts, and she said that for every 1 hour that passes while she sleeps, she experiences a month at Hogwarts. She explains that she doesn't use this power she's harnessed on friends because she doesn't want those relationships to be forced. In terms of her Hogwarts life, well, things are definitely more calm there than the wizarding world we are used to seeing, because she explains that Voldemort isn't a part of her Harry Potter reality. In our number 3 spot today, we have the lesson. A TikToker named Mina, who goes by the username Your Soul Warrior, is helping people understand the multiverse and how it exists. She uses an example of a simple breakfast choice, either having a smoothie or pizza for breakfast. If you choose the smoothie, your reality continues on where you chose the smoothie, but there is also a reality in which you didn't choose the smoothie, which has another you in it living life under those circumstances. A small, inconsequential example that shows the complexity of parallel universes. She even took to TikTok to answer a really common question. Basically, it's the question of having a vivid memory from your childhood, but your parents swear that it never actually happened. Mina had an answer for this when she explained that this sort of thing is likely because you are pulling from another timeline and just don't realize it. She goes on to say that all of these timelines are running parallel to each other and to completion. It certainly is an interesting point of view on something that is actually quite a common experience. In our number 2 spot today, we have the afterlife. Okay, so basically the premise or the idea or theory that this TikToker has come up with basically relates to what they believe happens after a person passes away. Her name is Jolie, and she describes herself as a philosophical artist. She boasts thousands of followers who she shares her theories with, and one of the most controversial that relates to this video is the theory that we never actually die and instead are just transferred into another universe, sort of like a cosmic reincarnation. She basically explains what is called the quantum immortality theory. She explains, quote, "If you're hoping that apocalypse is going to bring you that sweet, sweet relief, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Quantum immortality theory suggests that nobody ever actually dies, that consciousness never experiences death." It's definitely an interesting theory, and one that I have no way of either proving or disproving, so how about you guys let me know what you think of this one in the comments? Are we on board? In our number 1 spot today, we have the night out. This story comes from a TikToker who was responding to another TikTok that asked users to share their parallel universe stories. Basically, she starts off by explaining that she was driving with this guy that she was dating after a night out. She looked down at her phone at one point to change the song, and when she looked back up, traffic was suddenly at a complete standstill. The car they were in was going 70 miles per hour, and they were just seconds away from rear-ending the car in front of them. She just closed her eyes and braced for the impact she was sure was about to come, but when she opened her eyes, she was instead on the freeway, no traffic in sight, everything was fine. She looked over at the guy expecting him to be absolutely shook like she was, but he was just chillin' and totally fine, like nothing at all happened. So this is all weird, but to make things even weirder, after this night, the guy she was with, she never saw him again, his number was gone, she couldn't find anything to do with him. Like, it was as if he never existed at all. She is left with no answers as to what could have happened here, either in the car or with this guy. Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have the slit-mouthed woman. This is said to be one of the most popular Japanese urban legends and is surrounding what at first would seem like an ordinary old woman. She has a sort of mask on her face, but nothing really unusual. She usually appears before those walking at night alone, and she will ask, "Am I beautiful?" If you answer no, you'll be killed with a pair of scissors that she carries. If you answer yes, she will take her mask off to reveal her creepy smile that has been slit from ear to ear. How about now? she will ask. If you say no, she will kill you. If you say yes, she will cut an identical smile on you. Legend goes that there is a way to confuse her for long enough that you might be able to escape. That is by saying something along the lines of, "You're average," or meh.
In our 9th spot, we have the tapping heels. So this next video was posted by Holly Armstrong. Apparently she was house sitting someone's house when she began to get a bad vibe while upstairs. That's when she heard tapping sounds coming from their closet. She got out her phone and started recording.
Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my...
You can literally see a doll on the top shelf of the closet tapping their heels back and forth by itself. Apparently the girl dipped as soon as she finished recording that. Smart move. That doll is possessed by something. After Holly posted that video and freaked everyone out, she stopped posting for a while, which made other users start to worry. They thought the doll got to her. But she ended up posting a follow-up video saying that she's okay and that the homeowners are going to investigate. Yeah, right, they probably knew that their place was haunted. They're probably the ones that like summoned a demon in the first place. Coming in at number 8, we have My Little Demon. So TikTok user urbex_muse was exploring an abandoned building with some friends.
Hold up. It just started and we did not touch anything. It's been sitting here for years probably, so how the hell does that battery?
The building is pretty much run down, there's rubble and dirt everywhere and hardly any items, except some weird red sleigh looking thing and a My Little Pony doll. Apparently, while exploring this room, the doll turned on by itself. And who knows how old that toy is, yet it seems fully operational. The toy can be seen wiggling back and forth while giving out some weird evil laugh. The girl is panicked because that doll could have been there for years. How are the batteries still working? And how did it just randomly turn on by itself? It's cursed. Moving on at number 7, we have the girl named Claire. Another viral trend on TikTok is to use the filter called the reality ripple effect, and apparently this can find ghosts in your home. This filter basically outlines your body with a colorful ripple. It doesn't outline everything with it, only people or things that are moving or things shaped like people. So in this case, it has the ability to detect ghosts.
I had a little girl named Claire die in an old apartment of mine when I didn't live there. I'm just gonna like walk around the house and see if we can get her. I haven't seen her in a while, so
TikTok user Nicole Gable starts the video by saying a young girl named Claire has been haunting her. Apparently, Claire passed away in her old apartment before she lived there, and now she has been following Nicole everywhere. So she used this app to see if Claire was anywhere in her house. She goes around her house with the filter activated, and when we reach her kitchen, we can see the outline of someone sitting down on her kitchen stool. She's pretty sure that that's the ghost of Claire. Making our way down the list at number 6, we have the secret cabinet. As creepy as this video may be, I am so jealous of this woman, okay? Like, I have always wanted a secret room or area in my house.
I've been slowly cleaning out different cabinets and closets, but I noticed that this moves.
So TikTok user Rooney8900 made a TikTok about the house she purchased a few months ago. She said the lady that lived there previously had hoarder tendencies and she would keep a lot of old items. Well, one night while cleaning out a cupboard, she noticed that the shelves could move. She pushed them back and she found a cool secret room. I'm so jealous. But the creepy part is, when she poked her head in, she saw an insanely creepy old doll just watching her. In a part 2 of this video, she went in the room and found that it was filled with some other dolls.
So I'm back and I'm gonna explore this hidden room. So it looks like there's some old toys, books. Oh, so is this storage or is she hiding things?
Some were Barbie dolls still in their box, which are probably worth a lot of money. But the others were old, creepy, dirty dolls just staring at you. And she also found weird teacups that were of dolls with like the tops of their heads cut off. So like that's where you drink from. They're pretty creepy looking, but a little cool, but still. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the spirit box. So in this next video, TikToker My Haunted Kids communicated with a ghost manifesting itself in her doll. She does so by using a spirit box. This instrument allows spirits to communicate with us. They can manipulate the box to say a word or phrase. So in this video, she is holding a doll asking it questions.
You here with us? Call me Sam. How did you die, Sam?
The ghost ends up revealing to her that his name is Sam. In the video, you can clearly hear him say, "Call me Sam." Then he says that he died on a bridge. What she gathered is that Sam was a man with one kid that was sitting on a bridge one day and died from being pushed off of it. I have no clue how she came across this haunted doll, but I wouldn't want anything to do with it. Moving on to number 4, we have the elevator. So this TikTok user named Hospital Hearsay often posts a lot about working at a hospital, like what it's like, and more importantly, their creepy encounters. In this video, we can see an elevator opening and closing the doors by itself. While doing so, they share a creepy possible explanation for it. So that very night, they were caring for a bedridden patient on hospice care. She was expected to pass away in a couple of months. That night, she kept saying that her husband was on his way to come take her home, and that he was coming up in the elevators. They kind of just shrugged it off, thinking that it was possibly her medication making her say this. But then the doors of the elevator started to open and close on its own. When it started to do this, she said, "He finally made it to see me." That night, she died. Okay, that's kind of sweet, like her husband came and took her to the afterlife, but at the same time, that's so creepy, like I can't imagine how the workers must have felt. In our third spot, we have the closet demon. I literally got chills watching this next video. It's terrifying. So TikToker Ainara G was having a good time dancing in her room while the lights, changed colors, typical TikTok things. But in the corner, lurking out of her closet, you can literally see someone's face. The demon thing is just standing there watching her. What's creepy is that it can only be seen when the lights change a certain color, like blue. Whatever it is, it gives me the creeps. In our second spot, we have the little girl. So this user, Pershka, was filming a video about her scary ice maker. Don't know how an ice maker can be scary, but apparently it is. But when she watched the video back, she realized that she captured more than she hoped for. So if you look closely when she enters the kitchen, right before she turns on the light, you can see a girl with long black hair and black clothes standing right by the ice machine. When the light turns on, she's gone. Like, where did she just disappear to? Time to pack up your stuff and move on out. She does not look friendly. Also, what's wrong with her ice machine? Seriously, it looked pretty cool to me. And in our number 1 spot, we have Midnight Man. I wish I never watched this video. I am thoroughly creeped out and I literally have goosebumps just thinking about it. So in this video, the user 4 Locos and Mustard decided to play the game Midnight Man. Now, this is anything but a game. For those of you who don't know it, basically you welcome a terrifying creature known as Midnight Man into your house. He then stays into your house until 3:33 a.m. You can't see him, but he will be there. And no matter what, you're always supposed to finish the game. Well, this TikToker decided to play the game, but got bored of it, so never finished it. Big mistake. Next thing you know, weird things are happening around her house, like the lights flickering, her curtains moving uncontrollably on their own when no windows were even open. Then she woke up and had a bruise on her knee. Whew. Now, here's the thing. People in the comments were writing some weird things saying, "I do not see this video, I do not claim anything in this video, I am protected by the light." So now I feel like I'm cursed because I watched this video. Other people are commenting saying they did not see this video, God bless anyone that did. Great. So now I feel like I need to say it to protect myself, so here I go. I did not see this video, I do not claim anything in this video, I am protected by the light.
In our number 10 spot today, we have 2027. There is a TikTok user who claims to be a time traveler that actually comes from the year 2027. Of course, this isn't a time travel list, it's a parallel universe list, but don't worry, they also have TikToks that pertain to parallel universes. In fact, they claim that they are actually in a parallel universe in which there are no animals or people. He claims to have just woken up in a hospital one day, somehow left as the only sentient being on the planet. That's creepy, or a dream, I guess, depending on your outlook on life. Apparently, he claims to be part of some sort of experiment where, although he comes from 2027, he is in a 2021 world completely alone. People, of course, asked for proof of this, and aside from a few shots that show empty streets and the like, he did post a clip of himself walking into a completely deserted McDonald's. There's boxes of food left on the table and a jacket draped over a nearby chair, which definitely leaves a sort of eerie feeling, like people were just in the middle of something and then they suddenly disappeared.
In our number 9 spot today, we have the Red Cape. The tale of the Red Cape starts out when someone is going to the washroom. It is said that the spirit of Red Cape waits in the stalls of specifically the ladies' washroom, usually the last one in the line. Once seated, the spirit's voice will ask, "Do you want red paper or blue?" If you say red, you will suffer a violent death. If you say blue, you will lose all the air in your body and then die. If you try to avoid the question by answering white paper, a pair of ghostly hands will appear, sometimes right out of the toilet, and they will drag you down to the underworld. The best way to avoid Red Cape and any of these terrible fates is to politely refuse any single thing he may offer you. Just don't engage with a demon. I think that's pretty sound advice overall. In our number 8 spot today, we have Teka Teka. This legend starts off with a girl who was apparently cut in half by a train. This is why this vengeful spirit now appears with no lower body and instead travels on either her hands or her elbows, dragging her upper torso and making a scratching sound. If she encounters a person at night, which is when she is out lurking around, she will chase them down and cut them in half to mimic her own death. She is out for blood and is usually found around train stations. It is said that the only way to escape her is to outrun her, but she is surprisingly quick, so good luck. In our number 7 spot today, we have Tomino's Hell. Tomino's Hell is actually a poem, but there are many legends surrounding it. Legend goes that the poem actually places a curse on whoever reads it, and the curse can either bring misfortune or even death. The poem is said to be exceptionally dark, and there apparently is a ton of disturbing symbolism in it. It is believed that in the poem, Tomino has either committed a terrible crime and is now suffering in the 7 circles of hell, or the poem is actually supposed to be a symbolic representation of the feeling of survivor's guilt, which is also just terrible. At the end of the day, this poem might just be one to stay away from. In our number 6 spot today, we have the No Mask. These are a mask that is traditionally used in theater, and while I could make a whole list on their history in that sense, we are here to talk about spooky urban legends, and when it comes to these masks, well, they are considered to be supernatural in nature. A no mask represents both a smiling and sad face depending on your perspective. When kept in the house, these masks are said to draw negative energy from the owner. Okay, that's not the worst thing in the world. That actually sounds kind of nice. Well, that is until the mask just keeps consuming all of the energy. So much so until the mask consumes the owner completely. This leaves the owner and their soul being trapped in a different dimension that is said to be the dimension of pain. In our number 5 spot today, we have the taxi driver. So this is a legend that if you're a taxi driver, you might want to tune into. Legend goes that a person who suddenly appears and hails a taxi might end up being something sinister. Usually, if the driver pulls over for this mysterious person, they will get in and request a ride to somewhere the driver hasn't heard of before. But of course, this passenger offers reassurance and directions. From there, once the driver agrees, the journey will take some time, with the driver getting further and further from the town or city that they started off in. Eventually, the driver will likely turn around to peek at this passenger, and it's then that the driver will realize that they've disappeared. Once the driver turns back around to look at the road, he'll realize that they're headed straight off of a cliff. Yeah, it's a dark one, and I'm not entirely sure what the moral of this one is. Careful who you pick up in your taxi. In our number 4 spot today, we have the human pillar. This is a legend that is related to these pillars that can be found in Japan. The story goes that these pillars are human pillars, meaning that they have humans trapped inside of them. The reason being is because it was believed that pillars with humans trapped inside of them would bless the construction of the building and hold it firm. Definitely an interesting thought, but this turned out to be far from the truth. Now, it is said that places built with these pillars are being haunted by the souls that are trapped inside, rather than blessed. Honestly, I don't really blame them either. If somebody put me in a pillar, I'd probably haunt the building too. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Okikyu doll. So This is a doll that is said to hold the spirit of a young girl. Apparently, it was originally bought as a gift for this girl by her brother, but now the doll resides in a temple where it has been since 1938. This is obviously because of the whole spirit and the doll thing, and it is said that anyone else who tries to own the doll would suffer some serious consequences at her hands. While the doll is and has been in a safe spot for quite some time now, it is said that the hair of the doll continues to grow even after being cut. So don't let the spirit fool you. Just because there hasn't been any strange happenings surrounding it lately doesn't mean she's not lurking around waiting for someone to try and take her doll. In our number 2 spot today, we have Gozu. This is an urban legend that is said to have been discovered at the same time as some Japanese literature that dates all the way back to the 17th century. It is said that this literature that was found had some sort of curse on it, where those who read or narrated the story would be sent into a catatonic state. While in this state, their mind would be trapped inside of another dimension. They would stay here for a short time until they would end up passing away a little while later. In our number 1 spot today, we have the Kleenex commercial. This is an urban legend that is actually surrounding this really weird and creepy Kleenex commercial that aired in the 80s. The commercial itself is really weird as it depicts some sort of ogre child thing being sung to by a woman who is acting very strange, and the song she is singing is also perfectly fit for a horror movie. The ad was quickly pulled from the air as it had people calling in explaining that they were creeped out by it, but of course the internet took hold of it beforehand. So that creepy looking child I mentioned before, well, many people believed that it resembles an Oni demon. There are of course major consequences for looking at a demon, which is exactly what this urban legend surrounds. Basically, legend goes that the crew who worked on this commercial production ended up all passing away after working on this commercial, all in mysterious ways, which people of course believe is due to the demon on set.